Yo, what's going on everyone? In today's video, I'm going to be showing you the top 5 best vehicles that you should buy in GTA 5 Online in 2025. So coming in spot number 5, we have the Buffalo STX, which is definitely one of my favorite vehicles that I currently own. To purchase this car, it costs around $2.1 million, which actually isn't that bad for a car that has a lot of cool perks, like for example being bulletproof and also explosive proof. And those are just some of the most important things that you need to make sure your vehicles have, especially in public sessions, that way you don't get randomly exploded or taken out while you are driving around the map. Because I'm sure you all know, public sessions can get pretty toxic at times, especially now in 2025. On top though, the car itself just looks very nice if you put the right customizations of course, and on top, the top speed is 126 miles per hour, which is actually pretty fast. And those things are cool and all, but the main reason I love this vehicle is because you could also throw Imani Tech upgrades on it if you own the agency. But the reason Imani Tech upgrades are so overpowered is because you could either have different options, either the option to have a missile lock-on jammer that makes it so nobody can lock on missiles while you are driving, or you could have the remote control option, which allows you to remote control your car from wherever you want to without having anybody inside the car. But in my opinion, the best Imani Tech upgrade to put on the Buffalo STX has to definitely be the armor plating, since if you put the armor plating on this car, it will take a total of 12 homing missiles to explode the car. So with all those upgrades, you will basically be completely safe when driving in public sessions, or at least somewhat safe if you don't get exploded over 12 times. But getting into spot number 4, we have the Night Shark, which is definitely one of my favorite cars for driving around in public sessions because of its amazing capabilities. So to start, the armor on this vehicle isn't the best because the sides aren't completely bulletproof, but from the front you are basically 100% bulletproof as long as you are ducking. But there's tons of bulletproof cars in GTA 5 Online, and the reason I love this one is because not all of them allow you to throw explosives like sticky bombs and other explosives out the driver's seat. But of course, this Night Shark does allow you to, which is very handy during PvP situations or even just during missions when you don't want to hop out your car and explode people or anything in the game. Aside from being bulletproof, it's also explosive proof, taking a total of either 8 RPG rounds or 8 homing missile rounds, so you are basically completely safe if you get hit a few times by missiles while driving. Because some of you may know, or some of you may be the actual people doing this in public sessions, but every time I've been in a public session, I almost always see someone in a Night Shark ramming people. That's because besides this car having all of its PvP capabilities, it's also just really heavy, so whenever you crash into any vehicle, you'll just launch it super far away, and I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it can be pretty fun. But all those reasons and the fact that this car is only $1.2 million is why if you don't own one, I would definitely recommend buying it as soon as possible. Getting into spot number 3 though, we have the Vigilante, which has to be my favorite vehicle for using during missions to make them even easier to complete. I'm sure most of you know this, but for the most part, any vehicle with a boost or rocket upgrade on it can't be used during any mission or setup, but the Vigilante is one exception. Because pretty much for every single mission or setup that I've done, I've almost always been able to call out the Vigilante. The reason I love using this car for missions and setups is mainly because the rocket boost that gives it a over 150 mph top speed, plus it's also equipped with some missiles. And when I say those aren't any ordinary missiles, trust me when I say that, that is literally the case because these missiles almost never miss whenever you lock onto a target. It's basically 100% guaranteed to hit that target as long as you locked onto it and shot. But the last thing that just tops it off to make this vehicle just one of the best is this vehicle is also partially bulletproof, which you'll notice during these missions because whenever I am in these missions getting shot at inside this car, I almost never lose that much health. And even though it is $3.75 million, I think it is still definitely worth it since the lock-on missiles come on this car stock. So pretty much there is no other upgrades you would need to put on this car except the paint job. But now coming in spot number 2, we have a vehicle that is pretty similar to the one we just went over, but it is the Toreador, which some might argue is better than the Vigilante. And surprisingly, the price tag on the Toreador is pretty close to the Vigilante's price. It is $3.6 million, and I can't lie, there is a lot of cool perks once you own it. And definitely more perks than you would have with the Vigilante, so that is why I put it ahead of the Vigilante, but let's go over all of those really cool perks. So to start, the difference between the Vigilante and the Toreador is to start with the lock-on missiles and rocket boost. These vehicles both have these different options, but the only difference is the Toreador has unlimited missiles. As you know, the Vigilante only gives you 30 missiles, which is a downside about owning it, but with this one you have unlimited missiles, which is pretty overpowered. And to top it off, these missiles are pretty much the exact same as the Vigilante ones. They are extremely accurate because you'll notice that they basically explode anything that you lock onto with a few missiles, which could definitely come in handy during any mission or setup that you are doing, but I'm not gonna lie, this vehicle is not available to use during a lot of different missions or setups. But for those few missions that you could use this vehicle during, I would recommend using it since you could use the unlimited missiles to blast all of the NPCs without worrying about wasting ammo. And the last thing that just tops this vehicle off and makes it one of the best is all of those things I just mentioned can also be done underwater with the submarine mode by holding right on the D-pad. And whenever you are underwater, you could blast your missiles and even use the rocket boost, which is pretty cool. And if you click in your right joystick, you have a sonar option, which using the sonar can let you search for hidden caches around the map to collect extra cash and RP. But anyways, drumroll please, finally getting into our spot number 1, we have the Bravado Banshee GTS, which is literally the fastest car in the entire game with a top speed of over 172 miles per hour. Which I know, that is an insane top speed for a land vehicle. It is literally the fastest land vehicle in the entire game, including vehicles with a boost. Coming in at a heavy price tag of $3.8 million, you could also own this car, and the reason it is so expensive is because of all of the HSW special upgrades you will need to throw on it inside the LS car meet. And since it does have those HSW upgrades, you will be able to use it during any HSW time trial, and if you watch my weekly money methods videos, you'll be knowing all of the best strategies to complete those HSW time trials, and you'll be beating them with no issues. And if you didn't know, those HSW time trials are something you can do once per week and they pay you $250,000. And you shouldn't have any problems ever beating these time trials in this car since it has that really high top speed. I almost always beat these time trials with a lot of time left over. Because on top of this car having that really high top speed, it is also a really good performance vehicle having really good handling, amazing traction, and of course a really fast takeoff. And with all of those things, makes this car just super fun to drive around. Even if you aren't racing people in GTA 5 Online, you could literally be just driving this all around the map and be having a blast because of how fast it is. Anyway though, that is now going to be the end of today's video. Those are going to be my top 5 best vehicles that I recommend owning in GTA 5 Online in 2025. And if you didn't notice, all of these vehicles on this specific list, I only wanted to be land vehicles. I didn't include any air vehicles or any water vehicles. Aside from the Toreador, but that Toreador is a land vehicle, so technically it does still count. That being said though, if you would like to see me make another top 5 or even a top 10 vehicles list, including air vehicles and even water vehicles, so basically all types of vehicles in that next list, let me know down below in the comment section, and also drop a like on this video to let me know that you want to see that next future video. But until next time, I will see you all in my very next GTA 5 Online video. Peace.